is your front row seat for all the action.
From the sidelines to the end zone.
It's the best high school football coverage in the Blue Ridge. This is Friday Night Blitz on WFXR.
Time to get it on.
Yes, good evening, everyone. I'm Jermaine Farrell, hoping your day is wonderful and blessed. Friday Night Blitz is on the air, and it is our state semifinals preview special. And over the next half hour, we preview the 5 local teams in the mix for tomorrow's state semifinals. Let's get the party started with our game of the week.
Now, the Friday Night Blitz Game of the Week, sponsored by Don Hudson Insurance.
Our Friday Night Blitz Game of the Week comes from the Class 3 state semifinals in Lynchburg as the Region 3C champions and the Heritage Pioneers hosting the Region 3D champions and the Christiansburg Blue Demons. Now, kickoff is set for tomorrow at noon from City Stadium. For Christiansburg, this is their first state semifinal game in nearly a decade. This is the 3rd overall meeting between the teams, all in the playoffs and all at City Stadium. Heritage won in 1998, Christiansburg won in 2014. WFXR Sports' Ryan Moy checks in on the Blue Demons as they prepare for tomorrow's game.
We had to get our get back because we lost to them the previous year before that, and then we had to come back and get our get back.
Get back is what the Christiansburg High School football team did. Last Friday, the Blue Demons defeated Lord Botetourt 34-7 to claim the Region 3D title, and this moment was a year in the making.
We preach to kids all the time to do the right things, work hard, and it'll pay off. And unfortunately for us, it didn't happen last year. And then the belief that our kids had in that mantra and that system of work to come back and go after them again this year and be able to get it done was pretty special.
Special it is. It's the first time in a decade the team has made it to the regional finals. It's also the first time the squad has traversed this far in the playoffs under head football coach Alex Wilkins.
I don't think you withstand the 0-10s, the 2-8s, unless you have pride. And I had pride in myself and our staff. Then I knew we were good football coaches and we were doing the right things. It's just a process that everybody has to go through. It's patience. It's being okay without the immediate gratification, which is not the world we live in these days. And I think that the stick-to-itness of our staff and our kids is really special.
For players like senior running back Curtis Altizer, the team continues to exceed expectations.
It's a whole bunch of fun. It's just us putting up points is just always fun. Scoring, tackles, everything. The chip is always the thing. It's just we already exceeded what we thought we were going to get. So just, the chip is the end goal.
As Christiansburg prepares for Heritage, Coach Wilkins says this week's focus will be on controlling what his squad can control.
We just focus on us. I mean, that's kind of all we've ever done. Worry about our technique. There's really no way you can truly replicate and prepare other than, just being the best at what you do.
In Christiansburg, Ryan Moy, WFXR Sports.
Thank you so much, Ryan. Now for Heritage, this is their first state semifinal game since 2019. And as we mentioned, this is the 3rd overall meeting between the teams, all in the playoffs, all at City Stadium. Heritage, again, won in 1998. Christiansburg won in 2014. WFXR Sports' David DeGuzman has a story on the Pioneers and their run to the state semifinals.
Well, no matter the outcome, Saturday will be a historic day for the Hill City as both Heritage and EC Glass will play in respective state semifinals at City Stadium. But head coach Brad Bradley for Heritage, he's not getting caught up in that history as he's focused on beating Christiansburg in the Class 3 semifinals. Heritage well aware of the challenge that lies ahead, facing a Blue Demon squad that's only allowed 14 points throughout the entire playoffs.
I think they're big up front. They're good size, very physical football team, very, very well coached. They do a lot of things to put you in binds on the offensive side of the ball, put our defense in binds. Well, there's a lot that impresses us about them. But at the end of the day, it's not about them, it's about us. We got to control our controllables. We can't turn the ball over. We have to take care of business on offense, defense, and special teams. But we're excited. We're excited about the opportunity.
The Pioneers earning that opportunity after a 22-17 win over Liberty Christian Academy in the Region 3C Championship. While Bradley admits his team wasn't perfect in that game, he saw a team worthy of being a state semifinalist.
I felt like in the first quarter we didn't really come to play. I did, however, like the way we rebounded from a lot of mistakes and a lot of adversity that we dealt with in the first quarter, and we're able to kind of put it behind us and take control in the second quarter and just find ways to win the football game.
And it's that kind of resiliency that's led to the Pioneers' success this fall.
We got a saying that we just couldn't keep punching. And you know, we get up every single quarter and we start trying to punch, and we just keep punching, just keep punching. And that's what these guys, they've taken that kind of mentality, no matter what the situation is.
The state semifinals are a new situation for most of the Heritage players. While the Pioneers have gotten to the Final Four 6 times since Bradley took over the program in 2012, it's the school's first state appearance since 2019.
I'm really excited. You know, it's my first time making it to the state semis, and I'm ready to play. You know, he tells us about the previous groups, but I feel like we have to make our own mark. We just try to treat it like another game so we don't let the moment get too big.
The 2022 Heritage team already leaving its mark as co-district champs and regional title holders. Now the Pioneers just 2 wins away from adding to the history they've already made.
And that was David de Guzman reporting. So let's check out the bracket for the Class 3 state semifinals at Christiansburg, taking on Heritage Saturday at noon over at City Stadium. In the other state semifinal, the defending Class 3 state champs in the Phoebus Phantoms, they host the Brentsville District Tigers. That'll be Saturday at 1. Well, the impact of Hugh Free's departure from Liberty to Auburn earlier this week trickled down to the high school level. Now, during his 4 years as head coach, Freeze was able to recruit talent locally, giving opportunities to players to play at the FBS level from the kids from places like Appomattox and Danville. Meanwhile, over in Lynchburg, Heritage High School head coach Brad Bradley saw firsthand how his players were able to get to the next level. Former Pioneers like Frankie Hickson and Chris Megason saw significant playing time for the Flames under Hugh Freeze, and Bradley hopes the next coach that they bring in will continue to recruit locally.
And what he did in those 4 years is unbelievable. They put Liberty football on the map, and you know, it's going to be tough to replace him. I hate to see him leave. I like that staff a lot. They've always been hospitable to us. I think it's a great opportunity for Coach Freeze, though, and people got to understand that. You can't turn down an opportunity like that to go in the SEC and have a chance to compete for a national championship each and every year. But what they did on the hill is unbelievable. I hope that anybody that takes over and anywhere in the state of Virginia looks at the state of Virginia kids first. And one thing I do like about their staff, they took local kids. That's what puts the seats in the stands, I think, a lot of times at Liberty and any other Virginia school, is people being close to it, the community's going and supporting those type of kids. And, you know, we all here in Virginia have some players that can play for those schools.
Meanwhile, we move on to the Class 4 ranks, where in the nightcap of the City Stadium doubleheader in Lynchburg, it'll have the EC Glass Hilltoppers hosting the Keller Run Cougars. This is the first ever meeting between the two schools, and with more on this, David de Guzman back in the Hill City to check in on the Hilltoppers as they get ready for their state semifinal matchup tomorrow.
There's a whole lot to think about right now. I'm overwhelmed, exhausted.
You can't blame Jeff Woody for having a lot of emotions this time of year. The EC Glass head coach guided his team to its first state semifinal appearance since 1995, holding off a Salem squad that kept threatening until late in the fourth quarter of the Region 4D championship.
It was very good. It was very scary too, though. You know, we didn't know whether we was going to win or lose, but we held it through. Our defense came up real strong in our offense.
That's what we've been talking about all year, is staying resilient, staying composed, making sure that you stay on the grind, keep your foot on the gas pedal. That's what makes the whole thing work. Their individual commitment to the group effort.
Woody says it's the team's chemistry that's gotten them to December football, and the Hilltoppers will be relying on that again as they face a Kettle Run squad that's yet to lose this season.
We got to play our A game. They remind me of like a combination of Heritage and LCA and Brookville all in together. So, you know, we got our hands full.
Adding to the challenge is the significance of the moment. Glass taking the field in the nightcap of the first ever state semifinal doubleheader at Lynchburg City Stadium. But it's history that the Hilltoppers haven't paid much attention to this week.
They don't know anything about it yet. All they know about right now is we got to do what we got to do in order to win. The best opponent that we play every week is ourselves. That's the only team that can beat us, is ourselves.
The Hilltoppers know that it will take near perfection to put EC Glass in position for its first state championship since 1988.
Limit our mistakes, no negative plays, no fumbles, no penalties, the more disciplined team. That's what's going to win this game.
Very excited, man. This team, something special about them. I love them to death. I wouldn't change it for the world. It's going to be great because, you know, we got to do it for the city. Got to win so we can make it to states.
In Lynchburg, David de Guzman, WFXR Sports.
Thank you so much, David. So here's the bracket for the Class 4 state semifinals at City Stadium in Lynchburg at 5. The EC Glass Hilltoppers hosting the Keller Run Cougars. In the other Class 4 semifinals, the Dinwiddie Generals, they will host the Warwick Raiders. That's coming up Saturday at 2. Coming up on Friday Night Blitz with our state semifinals preview, as we have more on this preview, the Appomattox Raiders in their Class 2 semifinal and the George Wythe Maroons in their Class 1 semifinal coming up tomorrow. Stick and stay, please.
This is the Home Team Fan Cam, sponsored by Hometown Automotive Service. And now, back to the Blitz. Friday Night Blitz on WFXR.
Time to get it on.
And welcome back, everybody, to Friday Night Blitz and our state semifinal preview special. It's time to shine a spotlight on the Class 2 ranks, where for the 4th straight season and 7th of the last 8, the Appomattox Raiders are in the Class 2 state semifinals. As for the 2nd straight season, they'll take the nearly 3-hour trip to Bluefield, West Virginia and Mitchell Stadium to play the Graham G-Men with a kickoff set for tomorrow at 2. Now, Graham won last year's matchup 42-28. Overall, this will be the 3rd ever meeting, all in the state semifinals, with each team splitting the first 2 meetings. Last week, the Appomattox Raiders knocked off the Glenver Highlanders in a hard-fought 38-34 win to claim the Region 2C title. It is all part of the Raiders' 9th straight win after Appomattox got off to a 1-3 start. And the Raiders, they're peaking at the right time.
It's amazing. As long as these kids keep believing and keep getting better, then you can do a lot of things. You know, as soon as after I think we had 3 losses, if you start dropping your head and not trying not to work and get better, and that's the thing. We just always stay focused on the next thing. Okay, what's next? Okay, what's next? And I think that's what they've been great at. Not looking back at the wins or the back of the losses, but what do we got to do now? Most important thing, what we're doing right now and our next move, and that's what we preach to them, and that's what we got to do this week.
We got young teams that started off rough, and we really got moving towards the middle of the season, and now we're really starting to roll. I think we should be good coming up.
One of their key players is Jonathan Penix, and he is finally healthy after suffering from injuries, and he's ready for more.
The energy is unreal, and my teammates, they believe I've been battling the injury. Let's thank the God that I'm back good, feel good. We ain't done yet. So we got more stuff to do. On the next, that's what we love. And shout out to Glenbar. That's one of the best games I've ever played in my life.
He's had hamstring issues since Game 7, and he's doing everything he can, stretching, rehabbing, and for his team. And then he comes out and plays like he did tonight, and I just can't believe it because we haven't been able to do a whole lot of that with him recently.
With the long run of success for the Appomattox Raiders, they feel they got more to prove on the run to a state title.
It's incredible. That's what we fight for every year, to continue to play for these younger kids. They get all these extra practices to get better and to work, and just us to be around. One more week of us having impact on kids and developing is probably the biggest joy for me.
So here's the Class 2 state semifinals, with both games coming up at 2 o'clock on Saturday. Appomattox Raiders visiting Bluefield, West Virginia to play the Graham G-Men. They're undefeated 13-0. And in the other state semifinal, the Poquoson Bull Islanders, they'll host the Central Woodstock Falcons. Again, that's a 2 o'clock start. We move down to the Class 1 ranks as the George Wythe Maroons. They are a regional champion, the 1C champs, and in the Class 1 state semifinals for the first time since 2016. Now tomorrow at 1, the Maroons, they host Grundy at home at Pendleton Field.
It feels good, man. The first one in a long time, I think, and we just got to keep moving on. I'm hoping to make the state.
Maroons quarterback Tandem Smith, like his teammates, are excited to be 2 wins away from a state title. George Wythe can credit playing a tough schedule to get them ready for their run for a state crown.
I knew going into this year I wanted tough scrimmages, so we went to Scrimmage Union, and then we had a scrimmage up here. We scrimmaged Mount Airy and Narrows, our kids have done a great job. They never, even when we played those tough teams and lost, they never let that get them down. They just took it as an opportunity to get better, and that's when you know you're going to be good, is when you see that from your kids.
it really just prepares us nice. We played Radford. I mean, they were nice. We played Graham. And then we come out and play teams that are in our division. It's like, it makes it easier, but it's still like, you know what I mean? It's just nice.
The Maroons' opponent in the state semifinals is a team they saw earlier this season in Grundy. Back on October 7th, George Wythe lost at Grundy 42-28. It was the last loss for the Maroons. Now George Wythe gets Grundy on their home turf this Saturday.
It's huge. I mean, definitely anytime that you know, somebody has to travel to your home instead of us going up there is a good thing, but you know, it doesn't matter. I mean, you know, we're here, we don't got to travel, but they're going to come here and play hard, and we got to have a great game plan. This time I want to get to the last one. So, you know, I'm just trying to stay calm, patient, and I just want to make sure I do everything right for these kids and put them in position to win it.
So here's a Class 1 state semifinals. The George Wythe Maroons, they are hosting the Grundy Golden Wave. That'll be Saturday at 1. And in the other state semifinals, the Riverheads Gladiators, winners of the last 6 Class 1 state titles, are hosting the Essex Trojans. They're undefeated at 13-0. That'll be Saturday at 2. Meanwhile, in the other classes, in Class 6 state semifinals, the Freedom Eagles, they host the Western Branch Bruins. That'll be tomorrow at 2. And on the other side of the bracket, the Fairfax Lions, they host the James Madison Warhawks. That'll be Saturday at 3. And in the Class 5 ranks, the Maury Commodores, they take on the Green Run Stallions. That'll be Saturday night at 7. And in the other semifinal, the Highland Springs Springers, they host the Stonebridge Bulldogs. That'll be Saturday at 3. Well, one of our legendary Friday Night Blitz coaches is retiring after a long and awesome career. Now, Amherst County head football coach Bob Christmas told me earlier this week he's retiring from coaching after 48 years. Now, in his 4 seasons recently with the Lancers, he led them to the playoffs each year. Christmas had 2 stints at Jefferson Forest, leading the Cavaliers to back-to-back state titles in 1992 and 1993. Christmas has won more than 300 games during his time as a head coach. And Coach Christmas told me what he's going to miss the most about coaching.
Well, really, that's the part I'm really going to miss is those relationships. You know, with my assistant coaches is big. And the staff that I have right now, I have enjoyed immensely. And I'll miss that. And then the players, just being around the players, you know, dealing with things and helping them through things and inspiring them to believe in themselves. And that's usually the biggest hurdle. You know, I was really fortunate to coach all 4 of my sons. My last 2 sons, Matt and Kevin, coach with me right now. Matt's defense coordinator, Kevin's running back coach and strength coach. But when they were players for me, we had groups of players in our house every weekend. And yes, my wife and I would cook pancakes sometimes for an hour, just until they got done eating. And so, you know, when my kids were playing, I really had some close relationships with a lot of the players. But, you know, I've always felt like that I was in this business for the people, the coaches and the players. And that's the part that I've enjoyed the most.
Now, Coach Christmas says he would be open to returning to coaching, but as an assistant coach. And to see my full interview with Coach Christmas, we have it for you attached to the Bob Christmas story right now on WFXRTV.com.
It's time for the Friday Night Blitz Player of the Week, sponsored by Tater Benson of MKB Realtors.
Well, this week's athlete can be described as a Swiss Army knife. Not only did he put up 3 scores on the ground, he also threw for a touchdown as well in his team's 34-7 win over Lord Botetourt in the Region 3D Finals last Friday. And guess what? He's your Player of the Week.
Tanner Evans, quarterback, running back, safety, Christiansburg High School. We have a different mindset than we had before. They lost last year to Lord Botetourt by 1 point, and we just all said we didn't want it to happen again. I trust everyone around me and just had full faith in the ones around me. I couldn't have done it without my O-line, and then passing touchdown just gave J-Ron a chance. It means a lot, just knowing that I can step up in big roles and just do all I can to help the team win. I think it was a huge accomplishment for our school and our program, just knowing that we can beat a great team and just come out on top against them. It means a lot to me just having Christiansburg across the front of my jersey, representing my town, my people. And I've had a lot of fun. We've had some ups and downs, but at the end of the day, all that matters, we're having fun and getting the job done. It feels great just knowing that practice on Thanksgiving felt good, and then just carrying on, going to be playing in December, it feels good.
What does Coach Wilkins mean to you?
Coach Wilkins means a lot to me. At times, he's like a best friend, but he coaches us hard, everyone, not just me.
Who got you into football?
My dad definitely got me into football. He plays a huge role into me. He works with me in off season, other sports, just always pushing me to get better.
Why the number 4?
Well, my sister's best friend wore number 4 and she passed away a few years ago. It means a lot to me knowing that I'm wearing her jersey and keeping her alive with me playing sports. It feels good, just especially starts in practice, bringing energy every day, and then just when I go hard, everyone else goes hard, just lifting everyone up with you. It means a lot because a lot of people were saying we're one and done, that last year was our only good season, and then coming out this year and winning the region. Oh, it felt amazing just finally getting it into our hands and just knowing that we're on top.
And now, the Maca Did It Play of the Night. Sponsored by McAdoo's.
Our Maca Did It Play of the Night came from last Saturday's Region 1C final between George Wythe and Grayson County. The Maroons junior, Layden Houston, is going to take this punt. He has a reservation for 6 in the end zone, making a house call. 60 yards later, Houston doesn't have a problem scoring and leading the Maroons to the Class 1 state semifinals and earning our Maca Did It Play of the Night.
And now, Friday Night Blitz, Unsung Hero. Sponsored by the Army National Guard. Always ready, always there.
Well, we're going to give this one some more justice. This week's Friday Night Blitz Unsung Heroes, former Salem Spartan All-State football player and current offensive line coach for the Canadian Football League's Toronto Argonauts, and Chris Sweet. 2 weeks ago, Sweet won his second Grey Cup as a coach. Now, Sweet has been coaching in either the college ranks or the CFL since 2000. So congratulations to this week's Friday Night Blitz Unsung Hero, Chris Sweet. Now to recap, we have 5 local teams in the running for a VHSL state football title, as it is state semifinals Saturday tomorrow. Class 4, the Easy Glass Hilltoppers host the Kettle Run Squad at 5 in the playoff nightcap from City Stadium in Lynchburg. The first game at City Stadium kicks off at noon. In the Class 3 state semifinals, the Heritage Pioneers hosting the Christiansburg Blue Demons. Class 2 has the Appomattox Raiders heading west to Mitchell Stadium in Bluefield, West Virginia to play the Graham G Men at 2. And in Class 1, it is at Pendleton Stadium in Wytheville as the George Wythe Maroons. They host Grundy at 1. Meanwhile, coming up next week, Friday, December the 9th at 5:30, we'll have our Friday Night Blitz state finals preview special as we preview our teams making it to the state finals. So that's some good stuff right there. Well, that puts our Friday Night Blitz state semifinal preview in the books. If you missed any portion of this show, you can check it out right now on WFXRTV.com. Again, next week, we have our season finale of Friday Night Blitz. It's our state finals preview. And we'll have that show next Friday at a special time, 5:30, right here on WFXR. I'm Jermaine Farrell. Hope all of your teams are winners. Have a wonderful and blessed night and weekend, everybody.